Section 21 of the Efcc Establishment Act 2004 states, and I quote, "For the avoidance of doubt and without any further assurance than the act, all the properties of a person convicted of an offense under the act and shown to be derived or acquired from such illegal act and already a subject of an interim order shall be forfeited to the federal government of Nigeria." End of quote. A very warm welcome to you as you join us on another edition of the program, The Eagle. This program is produced by the Public Affairs Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. My name is Aisha Gambari. And in this edition, EFCC arrests over 100 suspects for internet fraud-related offenses. Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdulrashid Bawa, called on youth corps members to join the Commission's anti-graft army. And on our special focus segment this week, we'll bring you a special report on the processes involved in asset forfeiture and recovery proceedings by the EFCC. Please stay tuned. I will be back with details after this timeout. Don't go away.
My name is Abdulrashid Bawa, Chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nigeria. It is a great pleasure to me and to the EFCC to be part of this.
Executive Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Abdulrashid Bawa, has called on the Nigerian Youth Corps members to join the Commission's anti-graft army by becoming whistleblowers. Bawa made the call during the orientation of the new batch of National Youth Service Corps members at the Kuba Orientation Camp in Abuja. Amina Kawua has this and other reports. Please stay tuned.
In a paper titled EFCC and the Role of Youth in Curbing Cybercrime, the EFCC boss thanked the leadership of the NYSC for supporting the Commission and calls for more cooperation in the service of the country. He further called on the core members to harness their intelligence and energy for greater public good in their areas of primary assignments, and also urged them to join the EFCC NYSC CDS group.
And it's a session of the nation's development. And if you look around, yes, Nigeria should have been better than it is today if resources meant to develop the country were not diverted to private pockets. And that's why we're saying the fight is not for the EFCC alone, because the effect of corruption is borne by everybody. Every one of us feels the effects of corruption.
Bauer urged them to become models by shunning all acts of economic and financial crimes by joining the EFCC's Hash Together Against Corruption challenge via the EFCC official social media handles. Just to let you know, the same messages were sent across other zones of the Commission where lectures were delivered at the various orientation camps. Amina Kawa reporting for The Eagle.
In its unrelenting war against internet fraudsters, also known as Yahoo Boys in the Nigerian parlance, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) have arrested over 100 suspected internet fraudsters in calculated raids in Abuja, Ibadan, and Lagos. The suspects, whose ages range from 18 to 30, were taken unaware by the EFCC in their hideout after a due diligence was conducted on their activities by the Commission. Aisha Mohammed has details.
9 suspects were arrested at Gwagwalada New Layout area of Abuja FCT. The suspects are Teddy Agbam, Abdullahi Abdul Samad, Abdullahi Abdul Rashid, Ehije Miracle Julius, John Amaji Stephen, Okori Kalu Udo, Abrebo Promise, Abdulaziz Amin, and Habib Abdul Latif. The arrest followed credible intelligence on the nefarious activities of the suspect. Items recovered from them are laptops and mobile phones. They were also found with substances suspected to be Indian hemp and other hard drugs. Also in Abuja, in another raid, EFCC operatives arrested 7 other suspects in the same Gwagwalada area. They are Victor Chuku, Abdullahi Mustafa, Promise Eze, Ozo Prince, Kolawole Bamisaye, Eze Daniel, and Okona Chukwemeka. They were picked up following credible intelligence received by the Commission on their alleged involvement in internet-related fraud activities. Items recovered from the suspect include phones and laptops. In Ibadan, Oyo State, operatives of the Ibadan Zonal Office of the EFCC also arrested 50 suspected internet fraudsters. The suspects were arrested at Alaro Sango, Agbaje Ijokoro, and Apete Aladura areas of Ibadan, Oyo State, following intelligence on their alleged involvement in internet fraud. 34 of the suspects already indicted by the investigations are Badmus Abib, Ibrahim Ahmed, Adeyemo Babatunde, Abdul Rashid Ajagbe, Olajide Okiki Peter, Hassan Yusuf Atonda, Yusuf Olasupo Salawuddin, and Bello Ahmed Bamidele. Others are Adewale Damilola Tosin, Kolawole Yusuf Olawale, Nicholas Ferdinand, Keshiro Olarewanju, Folana Victor Dakbo, Abogurin Emmanuel, Bosun Tomiwa Tunde, Shelter Chibundo, Banjoko Idris, and Adebayo Akorede. Also arrested are Awoyinka Afiz Ayodeji, Afonja Olarewaju, Akingbade Taufik, Ezekiel Adekunle, Ganiu Sodik, Abioye Abiodun, Ogumbayo Daniel, John Timileyin, Omini Daniel, Adeni Idris Sodik, Joseph James, Adeyemi Shegun Oluwaseun, Adeleke Rashid, Saliu Tomiwa Rashid, Itoro Edet Ime, and Hosseini Nasiruddin. Evidences which linked them to the crimes committed were also recovered from them. And in Lagos, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) Lagos Zonal Office arrested 44 suspected internet fraudsters in Lagos. The suspects, who were arrested during different operations in some parts of Lagos State between June 1, 2021 and June 3, 2021, are Abiodun Amos Akoni, Afolabi Babatunde Damilare, Animashaun Oluwasegun Olamide, Ayeleso Dolapo Elijah, Bankole Moses Oyeyemi, and Eromosele Jeremiah. Also arrested are Kayode Aziz Oluwatimileyin, Kolawole Olaolua Adeleye, Makonjuola Ahmed Bolahon, Niwike Monde Nnamdi, Odunsi Oluwaseun Elijah, Ogundele Kamaruddin Ishola, Olalekan Bolariwa Latif, Pelumi Adebayo Kafidipe, Peter Pius, Samuel Ayola Samson, Sobankin Kabir Oluwaseun, Timileyin Damilare John, Yusuf Quadri Olamilekon, and Ayobami Olakayode. Others are Olujimi Damilola, Ajibola Damilare, Ogunshola Olalekon, Suleiman Semiyu, Olamilekon Oyewole, Moruf Akadiri, Akari Ajibola, Akari Moshud, Olowu Adeyemi, Ogunjobi Moyoshore, Shotayo Toyib, Oladeji Mayowa, Tolulope Alatishe, Olarewaju Lukuman, Oluwaseyi Eritosi, Victor Olaniyan, Adio Oluwaseun Temidayo, Abubakar Yakan Adeshina, Adeogun Abdulganiu John, Adekanya Mayowa Benga, Lawal Musa Ozo Vehe, Akiwumi Oluwaseun Olusegun, Lawal Tayo Samson, and Temidayo Onikoyi Abdul-Baki. They were also arrested following credible intelligence received by the Commission about their alleged involvement in computer-related fraud. Items recovered from the suspects include cars, mobile phones, and laptop computers. All the suspects will be charged to court as soon as investigations are completed. In another development, the executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Abdurrashid Bawa, has called on the Nigerian Permanent Mission to the United Nations to assist the Commission in sensitizing Nigerian youths in diaspora against cybercrime. The EFCC boss made the appeal when he met with officials of the mission in company with his Chief of Staff, Hadiza Gamawa, on the margins of the recently concluded United Nations General Assembly Special Session on Corruption Hungers in New York, United States. The EFCC chairman expressed concern about the involvement of Nigerian youths in cybercrime, both in Nigeria and abroad. He informed that from January to date, the EFCC had arrested close to 100 young men involved in advance fee fraud, adding that the trend was giving the country a negative image and stifling effective market penetration at the international level by genuine business people, as well as the quest for foreign direct investment by would-be investors. Bawa shared his vision for the fight against corruption in Nigeria, while also highlighting some of the challenges confronting the Commission, including delayed adjudication of justice and tracing and recovery of assets. He further gave an overview of measures so far put in place by the EFCC under his leadership to improve the Commission's effectiveness. High point of the meeting was the decoration of mission officers with the Commission's lapel. Aisha Muhammad reporting for the Eagle.
Thank you for staying tuned. Next on the program is the special report on asset forfeiture proceedings. Forfeiture proceedings serve as one of the powerful deterrent measures employed by prosecutors to deprive criminals of the proceeds of their crime. These proceedings are initiated in court, where an application for forfeiture is made by the prosecution for an interim forfeiture order pending the establishment that the property or money in contest represents proceeds of an unlawful act. Having been proven by the prosecution beyond every reasonable doubt that the property is derived from an unlawful act, the EFCC goes to court to seek the court's order for a permanent forfeiture of the money or property involved to the federal government of Nigeria. In this special report, we take a look at what the public understand by forfeiture proceedings and how the EFCC approaches these processes. Please stay tuned.
Asset forfeiture, I understand it to mean forfeiting assets or properties acquired illegally. That is giving it up to the government or to the owner of the property.
Asset forfeiture The terms asset forfeiture, by my own understanding, is those assets illegally acquired with stolen funds that the owners are being given opportunity to defend and they couldn't defend it, and government forfeited it back to the federal government.
Asset forfeiture basically is forfeiting assets, like giving up goods or house or wealth or money. And in Nigeria, asset forfeiture is mostly done by courts, where probably ill-gotten wealth is asked to be returned to government.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is a Nigerian law enforcement agency that investigates economic and financial crimes such as advance fee fraud, money laundering, among others. The EFCC was established in 2003, partially a response to pressure from the Financial Action Task Force on Money Laundering, which named Nigeria as one of the 23 non-cooperative countries and territory in the international community's effort to fight money laundering. With a vision to achieve a Nigeria free of economic and financial crimes and a mission to eradicate economic and financial crimes through prevention, law enforcement, asset recovery, and effective coordination, the EFCC Establishing Act of 2004 vests in the Commission enforcement responsibilities and due administration of the provisions of the Act. These responsibilities include the investigation of all financial crimes, including advance fee fraud, money laundering, currency counterfeiting, illegal charge transfers, future market fraud, fraudulent encashment of negotiable instrument, contract scam, computer and credit fraud-related offenses. The Commission also has the responsibility to adopt measures which includes coordinated preventive and regulatory actions, introduction and maintenance of investigative and control techniques on the prevention of economic and financial related crimes. Other responsibilities of the EFCC according to its Establishment Act is to adopt measures to identify, trace, freeze, confiscate or seize proceeds derived from terrorist activities, economic and financial crimes-related offenses, or the properties the value of which corresponds to such proceeds. Since the establishment of the agency, the Commission has strived towards carrying out all these functions with its robust law enforcement and prosecutorial efforts and the confiscation and seizure of several properties and cash worth billions of naira that were traced to unlawful acts. These properties are either under interim forfeiture orders or permanently forfeited to the federal government. In forfeiting these properties, the EFCC adopts two processes of application: the interim or temporary forfeiture application and the permanent or final forfeiture application. Both applications are presented before the court by the prosecution at the point of trial. A temporary forfeiture or interim forfeiture order simply refers to the temporary impounding of a property or money of an accused person until the case is tried and it is established that the property or money has a criminal origin. If the accused is found guilty by the court at the end of the trial, then a final forfeiture application is presented by the prosecutor so as to secure a permanent forfeiture order which transfers the property ownership to the federal government of Nigeria or the victims of the crimes as restitution. However, if at the end of the trial the accused is not found guilty, the property impounded by the EFCC through the initial interim forfeiture order will be released to the owner. Speaking further on the process involved in a forfeiture proceeding is the Director, Asset Forfeiture and Recovery Management of the EFCC, Aliyu Yusuf.
The primary mandate of the Commission is to investigate economic and financial crimes. And in the process of investigating these crimes, the Commission takes steps to trace assets that are suspected to be process of such crimes. And after tracing the assets, the Commission has two options. And these are guided by the provisions of the law that the EFCC enforces. The two options are, let me just mention them. The first one is to immediately apply to court to get the asset forfeited, to obtain interim forfeiture order, either pending investigation or pending the conclusion of the case in court, if there is a prima facie case against the suspect and is charged to court. So such assets are usually placed under interim forfeiture. And sometimes courts do order that the Commission appoint managers to manage the asset pending the conclusion of the case in court. This one is guided by Section 28 and 29 of the EFCC Establishment Act 2004. The second option is to use the civil procedure, provisions in the Advanced Wage Fraud Act, Section 17, which provides that where in the course of investigation the Commission discovered that an asset is a process of crime or unlawful activity or is unclaimed, the Commission can apply to court for such asset to be forfeited. And the procedure is that the court orders that such property should be advertised in the newspapers for anybody that has interest to come forward within 2 weeks, to show why the asset should not be forfeited to federal government. And if anybody comes forward and cannot explain how he comes about the asset, then the court is at liberty to get it forfeited to federal government.
Upon receipt of a final order pursuant to the EFCC Establishment Act, the Secretary to the Commission shall take steps to dispose the property concerned by sale or otherwise, and where the property is sold, the proceeds thereof shall be paid into the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation.
We receive petitions from individuals, for instance, corporate entities, government agencies, state governments, and all that. So once asset is forfeited, what happens to it depends on who the victims are and what the court, judgment, says about such assets.
How long does it take to secure a forfeiture order?
In the course of investigation, you trace, you attach, and you immediately apply to court for interim order. The time it takes depends on the court, because the court has to give you a date for you to come and move your application, and you also have to prove to court that you have a genuine case.
Can a final forfeiture order be contested in court?
Of course. A permanent forfeiture order has the effect of a final judgment, of the court that forfeits such assets. So it can be contested by any party that is aggrieved with the decision of the court to forfeit the property. They have that right of appeal. It's a constitutional right. So they have the right to appeal against such forfeiture.
The EFCC Act states that where any part of the property included in a final order is money in a bank account or in the possession of any person, the Commission shall cause a copy of the permanent forfeiture order to be produced and served on any person in control of the bank concerned, and that person shall forthwith pay with the money to the Commission without any assurance than the Act. The Commission, upon receipt of the money, shall pay same into the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation.
If money is the subject of final forfeiture, if it is federal government, what the law says is that it should be paid into Consolidated Revenue Fund.
It is worthy to note here that the EFCC does not retain any part of final forfeited asset or money, as everything recovered by the Commission goes to the federal government via the Consolidated Revenue Fund account.
The law is very clear. What the law says is that the Secretary of the Commission should take steps to dispose the assets. So once the assets are disposed and the money paid into consolidated revenue fund, we don't have any business with such assets again because, of course, the assets must have been disposed.
The EFCC, in ensuring the reuse of the forfeited properties, have allocated a number of them to government-owned agencies who were operating from rented apartments and other temporary office locations. Some of these are the Voice of Nigeria, VON, the Northeast Development Commission, and the National Directorate of Employment, among others. Abbas Abubakar reporting for The Eagle.
Thank you, Abbas, for that comprehensive report. The EFCC wishes to stress, however, that it will not relent in its effort of investigating and prosecuting offenders of economic and financial crimes in Nigeria, no matter how highly placed they may be. You have a choice to turn a new leaf now before the eagle claws catches up on you. The choice, they say, is yours. This is where we call it a day on this week's edition of the program, The Eagle. Please keep a date with us again, same time and on same station next week. To catch up on other activities of the EFCC, log on to www.efccnigeria.org and don't forget to follow us on our social media portals at Official EFCC on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And for other inquiries, send an email to info@efccnigeria.org or call our hotline numbers showing on the screen. Remember to also wear a face mask and ensure that you maintain social distance. Wash your hands regularly or you use hand sanitizers. Together, we can contain the spread of COVID-19. Let us all stay safe. I remain Aisha Gambari. Thank you very much for watching. God bless Nigeria.